coming to you live from New York. I usually don't come live this early, but we have breaking news to report on Trump attorney Michael Cohen. So, I'm going to wait just a minute or two, more people to come in, so we could have a little more viewers. Press the share button. Let's get this out to as many people as possible. Like I said, I usually don't go live during the day. I'm live every night at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, but I thought that this news merited going live right away. So, press the share button. Let's get it out to as many people as possible. This is fairly important news for a lot of reasons, which I will get to. Michael Cohen, who I actually met many years ago when I was a producer at Fox News, which we could talk about another day. Michael Cohen was basically Donald Trump's BFF. He was Donald Trump's top lawyer. He was Donald Trump's, quote, fixer, as they like to call him. He was Donald Trump's consigliere. He basically, everything from Donald Trump stiffing vendors, not paying contractors on his real estate projects, and essentially being a immoral, unethical businessman, basically dating back to the 1980s. Michael Cohen essentially was Donald Trump's buffer between the law, and he was this while Donald Trump was a private citizen. He was this when Donald Trump became a national figure on the NBC's The Apprentice, and of course he was this during the campaign. So Michael Cohen, it has come out over the past few months, was basically to stop news from coming out right at the end of the 2016 election that Donald Trump had an affair with Stormy Daniels, who was an adult film star, as well as that Donald Trump had an affair with Karen McDougal, who was a Playboy model. Essentially, Michael Cohen, his lawyer, created a shell company, created shell companies to pay off these women so that they would stay silent and this would not come out. They would not come forward about their affairs with then candidate Trump before the election. Obviously, that has nothing to do with Russia, by the way. That has nothing to do with Russia and Russian collusion and the big bad Russiagate hysteria. But it is a campaign finance violation, which it's kind of humorous. It's kind of humorous that actually now the media and the government suddenly goes after people now for campaign finance violations when back, if they were starting to go after and federally prosecute politicians for campaign finance violations, we would not have many politicians left. They would all be in jail. So it is truly interesting that Michael Cohen today has been found guilty. He was already found guilty, but has been sentenced to 3 years in federal prison for the campaign finance violations, where he literally, essentially created shell companies to pay off both Stormy Daniels as well as Karen McDougal, so that they wouldn't come forward during the campaign to basically say we're mistresses of candidate Trump. Honestly, if you ask me, it wouldn't have even mattered if these two women came out that they had affairs with Donald Trump. I mean, his supporters, I know because I covered the campaign, I probably covered about 30 to 40 Trump rallies. His supporters, it was kind of baked into the cake that he wasn't exactly like an upstanding, moralistic man. Donald Trump, I mean, they basically knew, you see, he's tough, he's this and that, he might have broke the rules here and there with business. He might have not paid taxes. I don't know if it really would have done such. I don't know if it would have done such a major disaster and crippled his campaign to the point where he wouldn't have won. However, it still is against the law. Michael Cohen made these payments to these two women for the express purpose of affecting the outcome of the election. So whether it would have worked or would have not worked really doesn't matter. In the grand scheme of things, really doesn't matter. What does matter is the fact that he paid off these women after he became president. This came to light, these two women, and he essentially created these shell companies to pay them off. What's interesting, number one, he got 3 years in prison. He has until March 6th. So he's not going to prison right now. He has until March 6th to surrender himself. Possibly they gave him till March 6th to see if he will cooperate more, because Michael Cohen has refused to, as they say, fully cooperate. He has refused to fully cooperate, which is part of why he's gotten such a big sentence of 3 years. Why he is not fully cooperating, I don't know. Part of it might be if he fully cooperates and tells every single thing he knows, or every single thing he did, he could be facing more jail time. So he's saying, you know what? I'll take the 3 years, because if I fully cooperate, if I fully tell them where everybody is buried, I could be facing, serious, like 10 years, 20 years. Who knows? Somebody in this position, when fully cooperating, if he fully cooperates, technically speaking, you could be facing no jail time. A lot of times prosecutors, because full cooperation gives them other criminals, gives them other people they could charge or other people they could prosecute. Sometimes they let the main person, he or she, that fully cooperated get off scot-free. But Michael Cohen must know, well, there's a lot of other thicker bodies buried. So if I fully tell them, there's no way that I'm not going to get more jail time. I'm assuming that is what he's thinking. The other thing that was interesting is Michael Cohen flat out went after President Trump in this hearing. He said, "I take full responsibility for each act that I pled guilty to." He said, "I felt the need to cover up the president's dirty deeds." I'm quoting. Cohen said he felt, quote, "the need to cover up Trump's, quote, dirty deeds." He's referring, I guess, to the affairs with the porn star and the Playboy model. The judge said each of these crimes is a serious offense against the United States. And he said somewhere along the way, Michael Cohen lost his moral compass. Again, somewhere along the line, Michael Cohen lost his moral compass. Probably when he started working for Donald Trump. What's interesting, more might come out. I came live as soon as I saw the news that he got 3 years. As far as I could tell, his sentencing for 3 years is not based on anything having to do with Russia, which, if you've been watching cable news over the last 5 or 6 days, like it's been for two and a half years, you might be confusing it for a Cold War reenactment, because the cable news and Rachel Maddow is in absolute apeshit bonkers mode over Russiagate after on Friday you had 2 filings, one from the Southern District of New York and one from Mueller, the special prosecutor. So yes, everybody like this video so we can get it out. If you're not familiar with this channel, I go live every night at 5 p.m. Eastern. Unfortunately, YouTube doesn't notify many subscribers when I'm live, so it's very, very helpful if you like this live stream, so that YouTube's algorithm works in a way, the more people that press the like button, it gets seen more. So there you go. Here's the deal. I think Michael Cohen is an incorrigible human being. I don't buy that he takes full responsibility and feels so bad. He got caught. Donald Trump is not the first politician to cheat on their wives and, try to silence the women they have affairs with, but it's against the law. And Michael Cohen made clear, as he was pleading for no jail time today, that I did this at the direct request and the direct orders of then candidate Trump. So he is indicating, and he is basically pointing at Donald Trump as his co-conspirator. Now, will Michael Kuzik left TYT membership for this? Well, I am not urging anyone to leave anyone else, but I do encourage those who have $5 a month or $10 a month, that's our 2 membership levels, to consider joining us. You could go to statuscoup.com right now. Jen will put the link right there in the live stream. And you could become a member as low as $5 a month or $10 a month. You get special bonus content. You get our podcast. You get our monthly newsletter. You get to join us for a monthly video call, which we're going to be doing on Sunday. You get a whole lot of stuff. But most importantly, you are going to support real independent media that actually rolls up its sleeves and gets the hell out of the studio and goes out into the field to cover real news that the corporate media will not touch. Jen and I, my business partner who's running the live chat, we've been talking all morning. Oh, I want to go here. I want to go here. I want to go here. I want to cover this pipeline. I want to cover this minimum wage fight. I want to cover this corrupt local state official. We just need the funding to do it, and that starts with you. So I'm not going to name names, but there are some organizations out there that like to ask for money and tell you they're going to do X with the money, and then they do A, B, C, and D instead of what they're saying they're going to do. We show you what you're going to do. So you could become a member at statuscoup.com, or in the more immediate, we do have a GoFundMe. We've raised over $26,000. Our goal is $50,000, and that GoFundMe is all of it is going to reporting, having resources to go and report in the field, as well as having more advertising and marketing resources, because we have to work overtime now to advertise and market, because unfortunately YouTube and other digital social media outlets are suppressing our content, as well as like similar channels like Jimmy Dore, Secular Talk, Humanist Report, Jamal Thomas. I could go on. So consider becoming a member, consider contributing to GoFundMe, and of course this is a super chat, so if you're feeling super, let us know. But what I find so interesting about this Michael Cohen sentencing is, number one, I'm trying to be nuanced. I don't really cover Trump that much. That's a big reason why people come to this channel, because we cover actual news that's going on that the corporate media won't cover in this 24/7 Trump media industrial complex, as I call it. We cover, like the Flint water crisis, which is still a crisis. Almost 5 years later, they still can't drink that water safely. We cover things like the pipeline fights around this country. I just did an interview on the Mountain Valley Pipeline, which I'm going to air Sunday during our live stream marathon. By the way, if you don't know, join us Sunday. Every Sunday we do a live marathon super chat marathon. Noon Eastern time. Last time I went live for 7.5 hours, so I hope you join us this coming Sunday. But anyway, I don't cover Trump that much because not that it's not important. He's the president, blah, blah, blah. But like, there's a gazillion people covering Trump. And that's all they do. I think the public needs to know what else is going on in the country, especially the corruption. So that's what I try to do. But this is important because it's the first Trump person in the Trump orbit that is sentenced now to going to federal prison. I also think it's important because, as far as I could tell, it's not about Russia. It's not about Russia. It has nothing to do with WikiLeaks and, John Podesta's emails or the Democratic National Committee's emails. If you remember, the original charge, I do because I was on the campaign trail when this propaganda and hysteria was getting out there, was the Trump campaign worked with Russian government officials or liaisons to the Russian government to distribute stolen, hacked emails at the end of the campaign. So that was the original charge, that the Trump campaign worked with a foreign government who illegally hacked the DNC and John Podesta's emails and then distributed them through WikiLeaks during the end of the campaign. That was the original collusion. That was the original Russiagate hysteria that we've been watching for 2.5 years now. Seriously, 2.5 years. This, as far as I could tell, correct me if I'm wrong, has nothing to do with that. This is straight up Donald Trump's a deviant, Donald Trump's a bad husband, Donald Trump's an unethical douchebag, if you ask me, and Donald Trump, basically, I mean, I'm assuming, I don't know, but I'm assuming his wife, that's baked into the cake of marrying Donald Trump. She knows he's, going to be a philanderer and go around with other women, and that's that. I'm not defending it, but, Donald Trump cheats on his wife, and so that it didn't come out during the election, Donald Trump just probably looked at it as another business expense. Oh, yeah, just pay him off. Just create another company so it doesn't get out. So, also, there is, oh, wow, I was literally about to say it. Itchy Leachin. You took the words out of my mouth. Also, Michael Cohen did money laundering for Donald Trump. I've been saying since I was at the Young Turks, so I've been saying this for years. I think the main thing that they're going to find is Donald Trump, the Trump Organization, did a whole lot of money laundering, and that included with Russia. Now, it remains to be seen how much money laundering went on. It remains to be seen in what form it happened. It remains to be seen how far back it goes. I mean, Donald Trump and his son has been open that a lot of their business came from Russian oligarchs dating back to the 1980s. So there is a money laundering component. Moose, Jordan, I heard that George H.W. Bush had a mistress. Oh, don't you talk about the dead when they can't defend themselves, Moose Gal. I mean, would you be surprised? I was on vacation when Poppy Bush died, so didn't get to chime in, but goodbye. Rest in hell. That's what I have to say. So, as far as I can tell, Michael Cohen is going to jail, but this isn't like the smoking gun that we've all been told is coming when it comes to Russiagate. And I just did a piece on statuscoup.com, if you could put it in the super chat, Jen. I just did a piece on statuscoup.com basically pointing out that, we're waiting here. We keep hearing there's massive collusion that's going to come out, but everything I could see is, Jordan, is it true? How do I know if it's true? I don't know if George H.W. Bush had a mistress. Maybe he did. Maybe it was Dick Cheney. Who knows? Now, based on the original charge in 2016 that the Trump campaign worked with Russia, the government, or liaisons to the government to distribute hacked emails through WikiLeaks, based on that original collusion charge, boy, has that definition really downgraded over the years. Now collusion is like Trump campaign officials talk to Russians. They say, I think CNN's number is Trump campaign officials talk to 15 Russians. We don't know how high up those Russians were. We don't know what the context of the conversations were. But the point is, is there smoke here? Yeah, it's clear that Donald Trump and his campaign officials were talking to Russian officials. It's clear that in some way Russian officials were trying to, infiltrate his campaign. It's clear that Russian officials wanted Donald Trump to win. It's not clear if Donald Trump's campaign took them up on their offers and actually collaborated or colluded with them. Apotheos says, it still does piss me off that T.Y. Oh, yeah. You know what, Apotheos, to that comment? I try to look forward, so I don't really talk about TYT that much. But I understand that. I understand that comment that you made. I tend to agree. I'll leave it at that. Because life is short. There's no point in continuing to look backwards. Got a whole lot to look forward to. But I think any organization that does fundraising and, says, if you give us money, we're going to do X, and then doesn't follow through on it, that says a lot. Anyway, but the bottom line is, this original collusion hysteria that we've been listening to 2.5 years, it hasn't come yet. And in the piece I just wrote, I point out how this definition of collusion keeps evolving into something entirely different. I get attacked on Twitter as like a Trump defender, and I'm a Republican, and blah blah blah, and Jordan Mueller's report isn't finished, and blah blah blah. I'm like, yeah, I know that, but the point is like, possibly Mueller has some smoking gun, or as Trump likes to call it, a smocking gun, because he can't spell. But don't you think that if a special prosecutor had a smoking gun, that the Trump campaign like knowingly worked with a foreign government to take stolen, hacked emails and distribute them through WikiLeaks? Don't you think we'd know by now? Don't you think? Because this is how the mafia works. You try to get the smaller fish. First you go after the smaller fish to get to the big fish. But they've been going after the big fish. They've already gone after the big fish. They've gone after Trump's campaign chairman, Paul Manafort. They've gone after Trump's lawyer and fixer, Michael Cohen. So if Robert Mueller has those goods, that the Trump campaign and Trump campaign officials knowingly, keyword, knowingly worked with Russian government officials or intermediaries to the Russian government to take the emails, Podesta, DNC emails, which I still haven't seen incontrovertible proof, keyword, incontrovertible proof, that were hacked by the Russian government, but that's a separate issue. If he has that evidence, I mean, common sense, don't you think we would know that by now? I don't think it takes. Robert Mueller's been going at this for a year and a half now. That's what I think. You can attack me on Twitter if you want. I don't like Donald Trump. I think he's terrible. I say be careful what you wish for, because if you impeach Donald Trump, you get an equally evil Mike Pence, only sounds less evil and is more politically competent to pass regressive, extreme conservative legislation. So I say be careful what you wish for as far as impeach Trump right away, because Mike Pence, go ask the people of Indiana if they'd rather Mike Pence than Donald Trump. I'm not kidding. He might sound nicer. He might not tweet, but he knows how to work the system. And he is a right-wing, lunatic, Christian fundamentalist. Phil says Pence is way worse. I actually agree with that. And that's not to say Trump isn't terrible. I would love to defeat Trump in 2020. I don't think we're going to defeat Trump in 2020 with Cory Booker. I don't think we're going to defeat Trump in 2020 with Kamala Harris. I don't think we're going to defeat Trump in 2020 with Beto O'Rourke, who is now, the darling of the left, even though his record doesn't really match that. I don't even think we'd beat Trump with Joe Biden. I think there's very, very few people who would actually defeat Donald Trump, and I think that starts with Bernie Sanders. Not because I like Bernie Sanders, but Bernie Sanders is the perfect contrast to Donald Trump. Bernie Sanders would win the states that Donald Trump won. Wisconsin, Michigan. I think he would win Pennsylvania. I think he could win Ohio. I think he could win Florida. So, other than Bernie Sanders, I mean, would Elizabeth Warren have a chance? Maybe. I think Warren would have a better chance than a Kamala Harris. Sherrod Brown, who's a senator from Ohio they're talking about running, he's fairly progressive. I don't really think he has the charisma, to tell you the truth. I think he's fairly progressive, Sherrod Brown, but I don't think he has it. I think Bernie has it. I think on economics, Elizabeth Warren does. I don't like Elizabeth Warren on other issues where I think she's kind of missing in action when it comes to being progressive. Ojeda, would he have a chance? To tell you the truth, I don't know enough about Richard Ojeda. I've seen clips and I like his talk, but I don't know enough about his record to say whether he has a chance. But he is a very, very, very sharp contrast to Donald Trump. So I think he could make noise. Would I tell you, do I think he could win? I don't know. We've never seen a candidate like Richard Ojeda, who's just like an everyday working man without political experience, win the Democratic nomination, much less the presidency. So, and you think they tried to screw Bernie Sanders? Watch what the DNC would do to Richard Ojeda, my guide. So, but the bottom line is this: I think the media is definitely going to hyperventilate about today's news. With Michael Cohen, I think Michael Cohen broke the law and he should go to jail. Period. I think Donald Trump, if Donald Trump wasn't president of the United States right now, he'd probably been sitting in that courthouse with Michael Cohen because there is proof that Donald Trump was a co-conspirator to the campaign finance violations. But because he's president, he's not. Because the Department of Justice, it's not a law. The Constitution doesn't say a president can't be indicted. There's no law that says a president can't be indicted. But it's a Department of Justice, what do they call it? Protocol. But if Donald Trump is not president, could he be indicted for these crimes? Absolutely. And you know what? You watch Donald Trump run on it. Donald Trump is so arrogant. Donald Trump so believes in his ability to brainwash his base. Donald Trump so believes that no matter what he does, if he just paints the brown people as the enemy, if he just paints the Muslims as the enemy and the Mexicans as the enemy and the media as the enemy, the three M's, Mexicans, Muslims, and the media, and then he creates a narrative of the evil conspiracy by the media and the deep state to throw me in jail because they don't want America to be great again. I'm telling you literally what his campaign might be. When he creates that narrative of the deep state media, industrial complex who's trying to take your jobs away, who's trying to take your tax cuts away, who's trying to take your factories away, and is trying to throw me in jail even though I didn't do anything wrong, you better believe that's going to galvanize his base. You want to know how I know that? Because I've seen these people. And a lot of them are actually good people who are just seriously misinformed. Seriously misinformed. So I do think this is big news. That's why I came to you. It's the first Trump official that is going to jail. I think it's ridiculous that he has until March 6th to surrender himself. Have you seen working class people? What is that? We're in December. Have you seen working class people or black people get 3 months to be with their family and be with their family during the holidays? No. So there are two different criminal justice systems. And by the way, for campaign finance violations of this kind, he's lucky he only got 3 years in federal prison. And to be honest with you, it would not shock me if Michael Cohen does not serve 3 years in federal prison. He might get out in 2 with good behavior, and if he gives the prosecution a little bit more. And I think, thank you Jimmy T for saying this, do not underestimate any opponent is a move of fools. There's a lot of media out there who thinks that Donald Trump is like, he's really in trouble here. If you watch the, reality TV show with Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer taking on Donald Trump, in the White House yesterday, and Donald Trump, said, I'll take ownership if the government shut down. And they seem to think, because all the political pundits that told you Hillary Clinton was going to win by a landslide, and told you that the economy is great, and who literally have no fucking concept of what's actually going on in America, literally have never taken the pulse of actual breathing working class people who are 9 times out of 10 wrong. I'm talking about all the people on CNN, all the people on MSNBC, all the people who write for the New York Times, all the people who write for the Washington Post. They're in their own little galaxy creating news and content that satisfy each other. That's what they are. That's why we created Status Coup. Again, Status Coup, if you're new to this channel, if you've never seen us, you gotta check out our videos, go to our website, statuscoup.com, consider becoming a member. We are, once we have the funding, which we're growing right now, we are literally the only independent news outlet that goes out into the field and reports on stories no one else is covering. We're not interested in going to cover conferences. We're not interested in going to cover what everyone else is covering. We are interested in going out there and to get out and show you the fights against the pipelines, to get out and show you the progressive fights against states and cities that are trying to block your minimum wage increase. Do you know that's happening right now, where minimum wage increases that have been increased, there are state legislatures that are rolling that back right now. There are state legislatures where the cities have voted on raising the minimum wage, and the state legislatures are blocking that raise in minimum wage. We want to go and we want to show you the disappearing middle class, where I could interview whether it's single mothers, whether it's poor people, whether it's people with $300,000 of student loans. We want to go show you the execution, hopefully not, but we want to go show you the execution of black men in this country by white police. We went down in Dallas and we covered the murder and assassination of Botham Jean, who was a 26-year-old black man who was just in his apartment when a white police officer intruded in on him and shot him dead. We were the only ones nationally that went down there to cover that. We were the only ones nationally that went down to Union Hill, Virginia, which is literally they're trying to dump a massive pipeline compressor station in a historically black community, Union Hill, Virginia. That fight is going on. So we're trying to grow so that we could actually get out there in the field and stay out in the field to cover these issues. So we hope you consider becoming a member. You could go to statuscoup.com for that, or I'll leave the link here. You could contribute to our GoFundMe, where we've already raised $26,000. So we're trying to get closer to our goal. Our overall goal is $50,000. By the end of this month, we're trying to raise, what are we trying to raise at the end of this month? $30,000. But the point is, I think this is a big deal, but this is not a big deal as far as I can see. This is not a big deal as far as Russiagate and collusion and all of the things that we were told were coming down the pipe. Sorry, I don't see it. I don't see it. Hey, Boofire OG, what else is new? Didn't get a notification. Yes, that's another thing. So if you're new to this channel and this is the first time you're watching, I hope you'll write this down right now, because YouTube, they don't particularly like to notify subscribers, even the subscribers who say, click on the bell and ask to be notified. They don't like to do that because they don't want you to watch independent news networks. They want you to watch corporate news channels like CNN and MSNBC. Those channels don't have problems with their subscribers getting notifications. It's only me, Jimmy Dore, Kyle Kalinske, Mike from the Humanist Report, Jamal Thomas, and other independent, progressive, anti-war voices. It's unbelievable. That's why I call it FewTube. It's no longer YouTube, it's FewTube. But at the moment, this is the main platform that we have to go on, so we just barrel through. But so you know, write it down, and put it in your calendar. Monday through Friday. We go live. 5 p.m. Eastern Time. So obviously I'm live earlier today because of the breaking news. But I'll be live tonight at 5 p.m. and I'll be live every single night, Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. I don't care. Tattoo it on your forehead and I'll make a commercial out of you. 5 p.m. Eastern Time. 4 p.m. Central Time, 2 p.m. Pacific Time. And as Jen says, if you haven't been getting notifications, please email us. We have a special project in mind. Email Jordan at protonmail.com. Email Jordan at protonmail.com. We're going to do a special promotion. So, Mark, you should subscribe to stop getting those annoying notifications. Oh, are you talking about YouTube Red? I don't know what YouTube Red is. But anyway, the point is, I'm live every single day, Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. And Sundays, we do a special Super Chat Marathon. Last time I was live literally for 7.5 hours. So if you could stomach me, and Jen is part of that too, And Ty is part of that too. And we have special interviews that we do during the week that we air on Sunday. I got a great one coming up this Sunday with an environmental attorney who's fighting two horrendous pipelines in Virginia and West Virginia. We're going to have other interviews that we air on Sunday and Q&A with the audience and all that stuff. It's all so we could raise money for Status Quo to get back in the field. So you could watch us Sunday, noon Eastern time, right here on Status Quo's YouTube channel. And we're trying to raise money through the GoFundMe. So there's the link, gofundme.com/status-quo-news. And if you're new, as part of our GoFundMe, if you contribute $100, you get a Status Quo hat or a shirt. If you contribute $127, you'll get a hat and a shirt. For $200, you get that Status Quo swag bag, that white bag. And for $250, you'll get that backpack. If you want to be studious, you'll get a Status Quo backpack. So, before I go, what are you thinking? You think this is a big deal, this Cohen being sentenced to 3 years? You think it's, toodaloo, good riddance? You think this means more is coming? Do you think it has anything to do with Russia? What do you think? I want to hear what you think in the Super Chat, or if you'd like to voice comments, questions, concerns on anything else. And Jen is putting the link in there for our GoFundMe. So please, 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 we're not asking you for money so we could go have a nice Christmas dinner. We're asking for your support so that we could continue to grow. We need a lot more funding to get out in the field, and I would rather beg the audience than beg special interests or corporations or the very individuals that, in my view, are destroying this country. So that's why we're asking for you to contribute to GoFundMe, and more in a more sustainable way, we definitely want you to consider becoming a member to Status Quo. So, Tim says, the Big Bang is more like a cat fart. I don't know what that means, but okay. Michael says, it usually is tomorrow by the time the show is over. Yeah, I don't know what that means. Julie says, honestly, I'm just waiting for Bernie 2020. I think a lot of people are. RQED, the immortal, you have some red shit on your upper lip. You don't think I know that? Yes, if you're not paying attention, if this is your first time here, I just went on vacation for the first time. in 2.5 years, I think. And apparently, white Jewish men don't fare well in the subtropical weather. So, yes, I do. I got badly burnt on my face. I got badly burnt on my stomach. I am peeling like a mother. And I did get a sun blister, or as Phil likes to point out, herpes. So, a sun blister is essentially a cold sore. 90% of Americans actually get cold sores. So, feel free to make fun of me. But yes, I did get burnt on my face. I did get burnt on my lip. I have a little cold sore. But, I'm kind of a what you see is what you get kind of guy. So, I'm not going to go underground for weeks. But if you'd like to tease me, that's okay. That's okay. Endo says, what time did this stream start? I think I've been live, 38 minutes ago, Endo. 38 minutes ago. Mr. Black, Jordan, apply aloe vera and plenty of medicated chapstick. Yes, I am applying those things. It actually isn't as bad as it looks. The reason it looks worse than it is because I did put the lotion on earlier today. So when you put the lotion on, you visibly see it more because there's lotion on it. When I don't have lotion on it, it doesn't show up as more. But I don't really want to spend 15 minutes talking about my cold sore. So if you want to talk about anything else. Mentoring 42, you look great, Jordan. Thank you, Mentoring 42. And hey, Mentoring 42, you know what you would look good in? You know what you would look good in, Mentoring 42? A Status Quo hat or shirt. Just saying. Status Quo hat or shirt. You'll get both for $127. Sounds like a good Christmas gift to me. Or Hanukkah. What else we got here? Mr. It's okay to tease you? Okay, what's up with this weak-ass beard? JK, I just shaved my beard. I just trimmed my beard. That's not weak. You want me to have a raggy-ass beard? Jimmy T, please reply. Sorry, no wrong doing by Donald in paying off Stormy, a professional sex worker to not blab. But she wrote a book about it, so I guess she violated a contract and will be sued for it. First of all, I don't really care. I'm not going to demean Stormy Daniels because she's an adult film star. It's a profession. Now, you might not think it's a great profession, but she takes it seriously, and it's a real industry. So I don't really think it matters that she's a porn star. The bottom line is Donald Trump did not file, and they did not file these payoffs as campaign expenditures, because they were campaign expenditures. Jimmy T, thank you for your work on Standing Rock, and good day. Thank you, sir. I hope you'll consider donating or becoming a member. Endo, Jordan, sell a super chat raffle ticket. What would that? Actually, you can't sell raffle tickets. There's laws on that. Endo, we've thought about that. Let's see. Gagabetch 88. Do you think Pelosi Schumer will have the brains to realize the new power of the House to take on Trump, or T-minus countdown to cave? T-minus countdown to cave. If I know anything about Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi, they don't operate based on what will actually be a winner politically. They operate what will their donors allow them to do. What will their donors allow them to do? That's what they operate on. And their donors don't want them to fight Donald Trump, because their donors like deregulation, and their donors like tax cuts, and their donors don't want Medicare for all. They don't serve you. They serve their donors on Wall Street. They serve their donors in the fossil fuel industry, and they serve Big Pharma and Silicon Valley. Accord the Immortal says, for the record, I would stream with shit on my face too. You know what? Honestly, I'm kind of an open book. So, yeah, I got a cold sore on my lip. It's ugly. What can I do? What can I do? I got super burnt in Belize, and it caused a blister. So, oh well. Tease me if you want. Phil, lol, Jen, you shouldn't picture Ted Cruz when you look at Jordan's beard. Yes, I'm insulted. Jimmy T, Trump was not running for election when Stormy violated her contract and broke a non-disclosure agreement. That has nothing to do with anything, Jimmy. Trump was running for election when Michael Cohen paid them off so that they wouldn't come forward. Yes, CT, there is a fly that I'm... I love how more people in the chat want to talk about the cold sore on my lip than this story. Jen, should I just put a headline, Jordan has cold sore, and see if that gets more views? Oh, by the way, I should tell you. I'll have a graphic for it too. This Sunday, in addition to our Sunday marathon super chat, right after that marathon super chat, we are going to be doing a special video call. We do it once a month, a video call for our patrons as well as our Coup Day Champion members. The Coup Day Champion members are at the $10 level. We have two levels for membership. You could be a $5 member, which is a status slayer. Oh, let me make sure my screen works. Hold on. You could be a status slayer at $5, or you could be a Coup Day Champion at $10. I don't know why it's showing up like this. This website is super screwed up right now. We got to fix it. But anyway, Coup Day Champion, $10 a month. Status Slayer, $5 a month. So if you're a Coup Day Champion, which is the $10 level, we're doing a special video call with our $10 members as well as our Patreon subscribers. If you're not a Patreon subscriber, we're really encouraging people to become a member because we don't want to exclusively depend on Patreon, because like YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, eventually all these platforms change and sometimes screw you, so we'd rather depend on our own server, not a private server in our basement, but our own website, for membership. So definitely go check it out. Like I said, become a member. And if you're a member, here is what you get. You get exclusive behind the scenes content as a member. If it will load, hold on, farewell. So you got behind the scenes content from me. Yesterday, this video is on exciting news that we have that I'm working on right now with possibly writing a piece for a really big site. That's one of our video editors, Colin, and his cat, Fury. He takes you behind the scenes editing some of our videos. There's Jen growling at you, one of her behind the scenes videos on trying to get our Flint story more coverage. There's Ty. He shows you his editing process. He's currently finishing our documentary on Flint. There's some behind the scenes photos from our reporting in Flint this summer. There's my podcast with Ty that we're doing on a weekly basis. So a lot of good stuff if you're a member. Now, before I go, does anyone have any questions, comments, and concerns other than the cold sore on my lip? And remember, this is a super chat. So if you're feeling super at 1 o'clock Eastern time, let us know in the super chat. And let's see, what are we at? What are we at here on our GoFundMe? All right, nobody's donated while we're live, so that means I guess we suck. Brian, hey Jordan, have you looked into Canada's recent cannabis legislation? I think it's the perfect example of neoliberals picking winners and losers and enforcing government monopolies. No, I have not. I'll add that to my list, Brian. I know that they just legalized marijuana in Canada, but I don't really know the details. So, Jimmy, there is no campaign violation in any of Cohen's work tied to Donald Trump. Sorry, they are desperate to build a case with a man convinced of lying and a sex worker who blabs. Okay, I disagree with you, Jimmy. So do the federal courts. What does Jen want from Santa this year? I don't know. You got to ask her. Boofire, Pelosi's pay-go, House supermajority. Any thoughts, Jordan? Hate it. I don't like pay-as-you-go, and I don't think we need to pay as we go. I don't think as progressives we should be sitting there, counting every nickel and dime. I think as progressives we should be saying we have the money. We have the money. It's spent. 6 trillion of it have been spent in Iraq and Afghanistan and other foreign escapades. We have the money. 7 trillion of it. Excuse me, what was Trump's tax cut? I think a $2 trillion tax cut has been spent to let rich people buy more yachts and corporations to do stock buybacks. So we have the money. Nancy Pelosi and this pay-go, stop acting like you are a Republican. Nancy Pelosi basically is a Republican. So that's what I think. And I also think when Nancy Pelosi proposes policies that, 80%, we're not gonna raise taxes on 80% of Americans. You know what that's really code for? It's a Trojan horse for we're not gonna push Medicare for all, because you would have to slightly raise taxes to pass Medicare for all, but the savings you would get by getting rid of deductibles and copays and coinsurance is a lot more. Thank you, Gaga Betch 88, $2 in the super chat. I love that name. I'd love to know what it means. So that's the deal. I'll be live again, 5 o'clock Eastern. This was a special going live earlier in the day. I'm also about to write a piece on more corruption when it comes to chemical companies destroying your water. So we'll have that up, hopefully, by the time I go live on statuscoup.com. Start getting in the habit of going to statuscoup.com because we're going to have new stories. I have a story on how Russiagate isn't what they sold us. That's up on the site. We are going to have another story up before I go live on 5. And we also really encourage you, like I said, consider becoming a member. I think we have, Jen, what do we got now? We just launched paid membership. I think we have like 30, almost 40 paid members in addition to our patrons. So we're trying to get up to 100 members by the end of the year. So we're a little far from that right now, but I think we're at 40 paid members on statuscoup.com. We want to get that up to 100 by the end of the year, and we also want to get to 30,000 on our GoFundMe by the end of the year. So ambitious goals. Already 471 great people have contributed to our GoFundMe. We want to get that to 500, and then hopefully down the road, more closer to 1,000 as we try to get 50 grand. I'm so excited that we've raised this much in 3 months, but we got to do more. And we plan on going back out in the field very soon. We just need to raise a little bit more. So thank you for watching. If you like the content, contribute to the GoFundMe. If you like the content, if you actually want to support real independent media, it's not enough. It's not enough, frankly, to bitch about how terrible corporate media is. It's not enough, frankly, to bitch about some independent outlets that are letting you down. It's not enough. The new age is here, and unfortunately, well, I wouldn't say unfortunately, but the truth is, if you want real journalism, you have to support it. That comes with liking videos, that comes with sharing videos, that comes with telling your friends about it, but it also comes with making it part of your budget. You know, everybody has a budget. Now, if you're struggling to put food on the table, or if you don't know if you're going to have enough money for rent, don't contribute to us. We don't want to make anyone's situations worse. But if you do have the extra money, consider $5 a month, $10 a month. The more people who do that, the more sustainable our model becomes. The more we could get out in the field and stay out in the field. The more paid members we have, the more I could go to larger funding sources and say, hey, we already have this base of support, which will attract larger funding. So it's all part of growing the business in a grassroots way. So I'll be back in 4 hours for my daily live stream. I say thank you for watching. Peace out.